And welcome back. You know, Ida Grove, Iowa has a history dating all the way back to the early 1800s and days of the settlements.
KTIV's Clayton Anderson visited the Moorhead Stagecoach Inn, which is one of only a very few remaining such inns in Iowa, in this edition of Hometown History.
Here in Ida Grove, this building right behind me once served as the Stagecoach Inn. These were very common in the state of Iowa, as every 30 miles, horses and riders needed to stop when on the stagecoach trails. The Moorhead Stagecoach Inn is on the National Register of Historic Places and was a stop along the stagecoach line from Fort Dodge, Iowa. After that, it served as the first courthouse, first church, first schoolroom, and even an early hospital as procedures were performed there. The building was restored in the 1970s.
They brought a historical architect out here to look at the building and give advice on how this could be preserved. And when he was done, he reported back and said, well, I would do two things with that old building. Number one, I'd take lots of pictures of it. And number two, I'd light a match to it. Oh, no, we're not going to light a match to it. So there, a group of carpenters headed by Harold Woolridge put it back into shape so that we can enjoy it.
There is some controversy on where Ida County draws its name, though some say it was named after Mount Ida in Greece. Ida Grove was originally called the Village of Ida, and in 1871 contained 16 blocks. When the railroad came, the new town was named Ida Grove, and the old village of Ida was considered the Old Town.
Well, it's important for the same reason that it's important to preserve historical sites elsewhere, like Mount Vernon in Virginia, or the homes of the presidents. We have to have a visible reminder of our heritage.
Ida Grove has a number of historic sites that are preserved, and there continues to be newer history, such as the castle-like architecture and being the birthplace of politician Harold Hughes, who served as the 36th governor of Iowa, as well as serving in the United States Senate. In Ida Grove, Clayton Anderson, KTIV News 4.